It is a little past 7 o'clock.
And this is the second episode of my series where I have 12 hours to make a SaaS from A to Z.
If you're new to the concept, it's simple. In fact, I have 12 hours to create a web application from A to Z, including the front end, the server, the database, the landing page, the payment system, and also deploying it, really everything, in order to make the application available online for anyone and so that anyone can pay. In this episode, I'm going to make things a bit more complicated because in the previous episode, I already knew my tech stack, of course, and I also had the idea, I just didn't know how I was going to do it. Now, in this video, first of all, the technical stack will be new. There will be certain technologies that I have never used, so I don't know them at all.
And then the idea is completely unknown. I have no idea what I'm going to do.
Actually, I'm just going to ask ChatGPT to give me an idea, and it's going to tell me what to do. So I will discover the idea live.
I will do everything live on YouTube. And then you will discover the result at the end of the video.
For this project, all the code will be completely open source. So let's not waste time. I'll show you the project's tech stack on my PC.
I'm on my PC to show you the project's impressive tech stack. To start, for the front end, we are going to use React and TypeScript. We're using Remix for this project instead of Next.js, since we don't need extra features like the server side, everything that Next offers. We are going to choose something quite light, which will surely be better for our project. For a little background, I know that ChatGPT originally was on Next, but they switched back directly not long after to Remix, because ChatGPT is just an app in itself where you talk with an AI. You don't need search engine optimization, you don't need server side, you don't need all the features that Next offers. And you want something quite light that is quite fast. That's why Remix is an intelligent choice sometimes. Next, for everything related to styling, we will stick with Tailwind and Hero UI. UI, a library I love, wants Next UI. And we might also use Magic UI, which is a very beautiful library, you'll see. And for context, we'll use the Stand, a cool, lighter alternative to Remix that I love. For deployment, honestly, I'm not sure yet. We might use Vercel, Soniclify, or Railway. They're all free. I don't want to set up a VPS or VM for that. Connect to GitHub for 3 minutes, etc. It's perfect for our use case. We need to be fast. Then you'll say that for payments, we use Stripe. No, I'm not using Stripe on this project. Actually, not directly. We are going to use an alternative that is built on top of Stripe called Polar. In fact, it's an abstraction that makes things simpler. Never tested, we'll see. But I hear a lot of good things and it seems really cool and easy to set up. Okay, we'll test this and hope it works. I'll update you at the end. For the backend stack, we will stick with TypeScript. And then for once, I won't use Nest. I'm going to do something lighter. We're using Hono.js. Honods. For those who do not know, it is a JavaScript framework that is not based on Express. It's simply Node. Something quite classic, very, very, very light. We'll see how it goes. I've never used it. I hear good things, so I want to try. Maybe we'll go faster. We'll see. I don't know. It's still a bit unknown, but I feel good about it. I think it's a good stack anyway. I think it's still a good framework. For the database, I'm used to using Firebase. For this project, we'll use Superbase. I've been eager to try it for ages. And for deployment, we'll use Railway to speed things up. Possibly Docker too. I didn't mention it, but we'll likely use it. We'll put it on Railway. It's free. By the way, for those unaware, I started with several VMs for my SaaS, Void chip. And I recently switched to Railway because it's much simpler for scaling, whether vertically or horizontally. He handles it all, deployment included. Error management is really great. I might come back to scaling later with a Kubernetes cluster or that kind of stuff. But for now, I'm focusing on my product. Then Railway is great and cheap. And of course, you know my deal. This project uses AI to its fullest. So, of course, my IDE that doesn't change is going to be Cursor. We might use DeepSeek. I don't use it very often. But for this project, I will make the effort and see what it does with it. Of course, we will use ChatGPT. We will use the new feature called Deep Research, which is really, really powerful, I think. When we know how to use it, I think it will help us for this project. And then the O1 Pro model, it will also be very useful to us. And of course, we'll use Raycast for keyboard shortcuts, etc. Go check it out. I did a quick tutorial on my channel. It is, for me, the best productivity tool. So that's it for the tech stack. Now, we don't waste any time. We are going to see ChatGPT and ask it to give us an idea. You'll see, I already have a bit of the prompt in mind, but the idea is for it to give us an idea of something to do. something that really solves a problem and with which we can potentially make money. I wrote my prompt right there. I write it in English, but the idea is that it will use the deep research function. For those who don't know, it's simply going to scroll the web, do a real search. Really impressive when you use everything it will bring back to you and the precision of the search. Then, the idea is that it will find an idea, so a problem, and it will give me 2 ideas. So I tell him that it must be done in 12 hours. It should be doable in about 12 hours for a somewhat experienced developer. And I tell him that if possible, it would be good if it were in the field of video, because it's an area I really like and want to explore further. So I told him, come up with 2 ideas for me, and from there, I will choose. All right, sending him the prompt. Generally, he asks for clarifications. We'll answer that. I told him it had to be more B2C. I told him that it must be a single payment and that it can be focused on any area as long as it remains video. I just realized, but actually, deep research is a damn good idea for finding SaaS ideas. Because normally, before, you either had to think, talk with people, or do real research for hours to really see a problem that existed. But here, you can totally tell it to go find problems that people have where there isn't really a solution yet on the market and give me that idea. And then you just have to develop it. Honestly, it's something to test, something to try. Ask him to give you an idea, something quite specific based on your skills and your stack, etc. And frankly, there is a way they can come up with something really decent and relevant so that you can develop it and then make money with it. Okay? So finally, after thinking it over, I believe that the second idea, even though there are already tools on the market that do that, can still be a good thing. If later, subsequently, if other people take it, since it will be open source, and improve it, and add features that are not present on the others, there is a way to take a piece of the pie. So I think it's a pretty good idea. And then it might also allow me to sometimes do it myself for free, even you. If you want to use the tool, clone the repositories at the end and do it yourself. I'm paying for it. But sometimes you want to do it quickly and you don't want to pay. So in itself, offering a free alternative and then adding features to make it paid or whatever, I think it's a good idea. So I think we will go with that. And the next step is to define our strategy and approach. I'll show you right after. So after a bit of thought, I think I've come up with an idea on how to make the application. To summarize, the idea of the application is quite simple in itself. We have a person who has a long video and wants to transform this long video into several short videos in vertical format. But of course, this person wants to capture the best moments and wants the videos to last a certain time, between 10, 30, 60 seconds, or even more, sometimes 3 minutes. And the idea is that we allow them to create short videos from long videos. For now, we will do it without subtitles because it would be a bit too long and I wouldn't have the time to do it. At most, we can use an application programming interface, but for this first version, I think we will do it without subtitles. The idea is that we would have the landing page, the person arrives on the page, there is a small call to action button to tell them to access the application. She arrives on a login page, she logs in, she creates an account, we record all that in Supabase. Then she arrives on a small upload page, so she uploads her video. She chooses the duration of the short videos, so 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 3 minutes, whatever. Then there is a little thing, a small square that appears prominently. Video in progress. During this time, what we are going to do is where all the magic will happen. We are going to take the video. We are going to put it on Amazon Web Services, and then we will retrieve the transcription of the video, basically the entire text of the video. We'll use DeepGram for that. DeepGram sends it via the API. So a little JSON. We will send all this to ChatGPT and it will tell me to take the 10 best moments. So you send me 10 times the beginning of a sequence and the end of a sequence with the timestamps in JSON format. I will use FMPEG to cut all the moments of this video. So I will end up with, for example, 10 horizontal videos. Then the idea is to transform these horizontal videos into vertical videos. I don't know if I will have time to do it, but the idea would also be for us to cut, not just anywhere. The idea is to convert this horizontal video into a vertical one, cropping to the speaker's face. Otherwise, it'd be odd. I'll try it later if time allows. Then record all videos on Amazon Web Services. We send that back to the front. We say, okay, it's done, your videos are ready. Boom. He clicks there. It takes him to another page where all the short videos are displayed and he can download them. That's the idea, basically. So it's starting to get a bit late. It's 9 o'clock. The idea is for me to leave right away, to have the idea, to keep you informed as I go along. And as I move forward, I will tell you at each major step what I have done, what I have encountered, etc. All right, let's not waste time. Let's go. Before we start, I just had an idea. Actually, I have a friend who's already developed a video software as a service. Actually, it's for making subtitles. I know a bunch of his SAS made it a feature to transform long videos into short videos. I'll ask him for advice if he doesn't know how to do that. But maybe better to see even more quickly. I know. This kind of advice is always good to take, so I'm going to send him a message and ask if he has any advice to give me. By the way, his software as a service is incredible. Don't hesitate to go check it out. It's called Snapvid. I'll put the link in the description. It's for making shorts. For me, in the market, it's the one that currently offers the best subtitles, so don't hesitate to check them out. It's a cool tool. Starting a simple joint stock company is always similar. Do you know the song? I was both fully engaged and curious to discover these new technologies, but at the same time, a bit jaded about having to redo the entire setup phase. So I started creating folders. So with Remix and Ono.js, I was quite disappointed when I saw that there was very little documentation. And resources for technologies like Remix compared to Next.js were quite daunting. The difference in popularity between the two is utterly colossal. And one quickly grasps the logic that leads developers to use technologies like Next.js or Nest to learn web development. I was thinking about the difference between Next and Remix, which is less significant, but I think there is really an adaptation phase to consider when you switch frameworks like that. On the other hand, for Superbase, it was super pleasant and easy to get the hang of. It was really something that I think is within everyone's reach. And besides, it's much cheaper than Firebase, at least based on the feedback I've received. So for my next project, I will probably go with him. I relied much more on Cursor than usual for this project because I quickly realized I would proceed much faster if I used Cursor Agent for the architecture, etc., rather than reading the sparse and almost non-existent documentation of Remix and Ono.js. I also had to go back to Stand Overflow due to some rather obscure bugs that I couldn't solve with Cursor. Well, bad news for me. I really underestimated. Using various frameworks and tech took far longer than expected. Now, it's been several hours and I just finished. There I am live, and actually, if I go back to my page, so there I am connected. I have connected Superbase. I have connected the entire database. I did a bit of setup for the backend and front end. If I've got the token, I reload. So here we have the login button. Simple enough, but it was all about setup, authentication logic, and blocking protected routes, etc. So I log in, we arrive on the app, there you go. If I reload, we raycast the data and update the context with the user's data. So there you go. Essentially, that was it. It took several hours, but it was mainly to familiarize myself with Remix, which is a lot of things I didn't know, especially also with Ono.js, which was quite different from Next. And honestly, there's no point in lying here. There's no bullshit. I don't think I'll finish on time, but well, there you go. The idea is to go as fast as possible and deliver something, even if it's 5 hours, 10 hours later. The goal is the objective to finish and deliver something. Once the entire foundation construction phase is completed, it's time to move to the server side, to tackle the core of the product. I therefore took care of the entire part, Superbase, so account creation, authentication, token management, and project creation. I implemented Amazon Web Services to record the videos. I also handled DeepGram for retrieving the transcription of the user's video. Then I quickly set up a service using the OpenAI API to analyze the transcription and send me the video highlights by order of virality, and also a reason I show front end. There was a small generic prompt-in task to test the different queries and see which model gave the best results. And I finally went with O3 Mini, which is truly excellent and has a very good quality price ratio. I was lucky to be tier 5 on OpenAI. What allowed the use of this model, which was not accessible to everyone at that time. Setting up FFmpeg was simple. I'm getting to know it well. It's this tool that was used to cut the videos and also to put them in vertical format. I used a lot too. Cursor with Claude Sonnet 3.5 for fairly simple tasks, and O1 Pro for slightly more complex tasks, and also Raycast AI. When I wasn't on my integrated development environment, when I was on the browser, for example, I finally finished all the server-side logic. So everything we wanted to do now works. You'll see, as I told you, it took much longer than expected, so I will be late. That's for sure, but it's not a big deal. I will finish the project and deliver something clean. So here I have all my code, so the front end and the back end. Here I have a mid-code underscore video, a short 40-minute podcast. I'm just moving on to create a project, as you'll see. I feed it the video and its duration, how long I want my shorts, and set it for between 30 and 60 seconds, then assign an ID. So there, if I send the request, in fact, it will go through the entire process we talked about last time. We will record the video in Amazon Web Services, then send the video and retrieve the transcription. To DeepGram, he will send us back a JSON. I compress all that JSON, let's say, and I send it to ChatGPT. And with a JK prompt, I told it to analyze all that and give me the 10 best moments of the video based on the requested time. Also explain why these moments are the best and what happens then. It will help me to slightly enhance the interface. Once we have that, all the specific moments where I need to cut, I cut them with FFmpeg. I transform them into vertical formats. We save each video in WebSocket, and we send that back to the front end. If we look at the logs, we can clearly see that everything is going correctly, etc. And we see my CPU up there is in trouble cutting. Videos in almost, not quite 4K, but almost, it goes up to 100 degrees. It's crazy. And there we see each new segment appearing in a rush. We can see that we have our 10 videos with our 10 links, indicating when it starts and when it ends perfectly. That's what we wanted. Okay. Now the next step will be to move on to the front ends. We will build the interface. We'll try to build something clean, and then I'll show you all of that. Then the last step will be the landing page part. I think we've done the hardest part, but I mustn't waste time. Go. Once the core of the product is finished, I finally tackle the client side, so the front end of the application, as well as the landing page. Honestly, it was fast. There was a bit of logic specific to the project, but the rest was déjà vu. For me, I used components from the Hero UI library, which is free, and Hero UI Pro, which is paid this time, that I then modified for my needs. I also used one of their new products called Hero.chat to create components and entire pages. In fact, it's an interface that somewhat resembles ChatGPT. You give it a prompt and it gives us all the Hero components, UI that are already ready, the pages, etc. Cool. I used it, for example, for the pricing page. I also got to test the new Anthropic model, so Claude 3.7, which is honestly very, very good, even if it tends to exaggerate a bit sometimes. I did some tests, a bit of responsive design, and it was mostly finished. Landing page, I took Next.js template on Tailwind UI that I told Cursor to modify for my use case. I gave him a bit of context, and he folded that in 3 minutes. Today, honestly, you have no excuse not to create beautiful landing pages. You have everything at your disposal to do it extremely easily. Okay, I finally finished the front end, both the landing page and the app. I haven't deployed the landing page yet, but basically it will look like this for the homepage. I tried Tailwind, simple, clean tool. I really like it. It gives it a bit of copywriting, buzzword, and it does the job. And basically, when we click here, so to start, it takes us directly to the homepage. So if I'm disconnected, this is it. And actually, so we see all our projects. We can import a project. We can select how long do we want each segment to last. The rise of it is that we click here, import a video, and then it will appear just below, and I try to continue. So the site will be available at magiccuts.pro, and for the application, it will be app.magiccuts.pro, and for the API. it will be api.magiccuts.pro here. So everything is perfectly deployed on Versal and on Railway. And so to show you what it looks like, when we import a video, it says completed when it's finished. Otherwise, it's pending. And there. We have all the videos, in fact, sorted by whether they can become viral according to ChatGPT. Here we see the video. I didn't have time to add the subtitles, and there was also something else I didn't have time to do, which was still important. But well, since I was late, I had to make concessions on some things so as not to stay on the project for 30 years either. It was the payment. I figured no one would pay anyway. MVP? Here, but I still made a pricing page right there. A pretty clean thing with basic prices that I made thanks to a new tool that came out called Heroe.chat. Links in the description. It's not bad. Settings page, not ready yet, but there you go. In fact, at registration, you will receive a free token to test with a maximum of 500 megabytes. If I see abuse, I'll stop it, but I think it's fine if not too many tests. Actually, I think I still wasted a lot of time on adopting new technologies. Well, I learned on the job, but well, it wasn't a very strategic choice to gain speed. The project is open source on GitHub. It's in a mono repo, you'll see. You can, of course, contribute. Putting a little star is always nice. Even taking it, forking it, and then creating your own project from it, then monetize. For me, it would be super cool to see someone manage to make money with it. Message me if you've succeeded. I'd love to see it. I will, of course, put the link in the description. There will not be a link to the landing page because it's a template I bought. So I can't share it with you. But all the code, you just need to add your own API keys. That's it for this video. Feel free to give a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think. And we'll see each other for our next video or for our next challenge.